Hello, everyone. I am going to get started even though nobody has joined yet. Today, I want to answer a question from a follower of mine, a really good question based on a post I recently shared. That it seems like it resonates with a lot of people about this whole issue of experiencing these chronic symptoms, and yet lab work isn't showing that anything is wrong. Like, what do you do when you are experiencing chronic symptoms but there isn't any lab work to confirm the issue, so that the assumption is so that you know what to do, right? And so the question I was asked was, how will you know if the lab didn't confirm and you have symptoms? I'm assuming this follower is trying to say, how will you know what to do if the lab didn't confirm, or what is wrong if the lab didn't confirm and you have symptoms. What the short answer is, before I dive into this like real deep, maybe too deep, is that your body symptoms, if you're having chronic symptoms, it's telling you, it's like an early detection system. Your lab work is like telling you something is here, it is a problem now. Where your symptoms are telling you ahead of time, hey, things are kind of going wacky in your body, pay attention. The way I like to think about it, it's like a radar system. When you see, those radar systems in movies, how they have that blip, and when they see something, they blip, and they can see the thing coming. That is how our symptoms work. They will show up on our radar long before it shows up in our lab work. Okay? So that's a huge thing to understand. Is like, you're being told by your body long before your lab work that you need to take action. Now the question is, what action? And this is where we get hung up and confused, because the reality is most of us do not know what to do because we weren't taught. It is not your fault. That's a huge point I want to make here, is that it is not your fault you don't know what to do with your symptoms. It is because of so many things I cannot even dive into right now. The healthcare system, the pharmaceutical system, like, it is a huge complex thing that's going on that has trained us not really to know what to do with the symptoms. Oh, hey, hello. Sorry, I didn't see your comment there. Thank you for joining. And so, where was I? So we're not taught, thanks for understanding, we're not taught the fundamentals or the core basics of what our body systems need when it comes to nutrition. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. That's a nice compliment. And so when these symptoms come up, we don't understand. Like, for example, when constipation comes up, it can be a sign. It can be a sign of toxic overload in your liver, and then what to do about that. It can be a sign that you are starting to have nutritional deficiencies that supports your liver function, your digestive system function. So we don't understand it. That's just a few examples. We don't understand these core fundamental things about how our bodies work and the nutrients and the lifestyle habits that each of our unique bodies need to function well. And so that is the real reason we don't know. And again, I want to say it's not your fault. There's a whole weird layered reason to why we don't know these things, but that's something I want to put out there so that you can, be aware of, because with more awareness, then you can start to look at things differently and approach your body and your health differently. The other reason is that most doctors are trained to look at symptoms in order to identify No, I have not been there. Most doctors are trained to look at symptoms to identify a medical condition. So they're like trying to put something in a box. That's how I try to think about, medical training. From what I've heard from other doctors and listened into how they're approaching symptoms, they're trying to identify and put it in a box, in a medical condition, identifiable medical condition. Okay, but some doctors, not many, hopefully many more in the future, they do seek additional training that helps them look at symptoms in order to help patients prevent medical conditions. Oh, thank you. So they're going from trying to identify a medical condition, which is like a really narrow way to view symptoms, to learning how to use symptoms or understand symptoms to prevent. So this is a much bigger box to prevent medical conditions, which is what symptoms are really trying to tell us. It is the language of our body. Symptoms are the language of our body, and they are often trying to tell us for years and years, because we don't know. Most of us do not know how to understand symptoms and what they're trying to tell us. They go on for years and not years trying to get our attention so that we can prevent medical conditions. Yes, so this is what I'm getting into. Great question. That's exactly what the topic is today. What to do when your blood work keeps on coming back normal. So I'm just covering a few points of I feel will be helpful to put in context to why that's happening and why we don't know, for the most part, what to do, why most people don't know what to do when it keeps on coming back normal and you're having symptoms. So my next point is lab work is true, but partial and often has too wide of a normal range. So your question came in like super on point, because that was my next point. I say they are true because they do give us insight and information of what's going on in our body, which is helpful to add on to the holistic picture, to all the other things you need to be looking at, including your symptoms. All right. And then the other point I wanted to make is that it's often too wide of a range. So each body's body is different and unique. And the standard medical approach, the lab ranges themselves are very wide. And so you may be experiencing symptoms while being in the normal range, but that is because your optimal range, your unique optimal range of your body is actually much narrower. I hope that makes sense. It's much narrower. And to really get into understanding that why that narrow range, what that optimal range is, you really need to work with a functional medical doctor or a functional nutritionist that can help you understand that more deeper for yourself. I've been looking around to see who else does this, how else you can get this information. But for now, what I know that is true is that in the functional nutrition, functional medicine world, this is the lens that they're looking at. They're looking at you at an individual level, but in a holistic way, like paying attention to your symptoms as information, not just as, only if they link to a specific medical condition, only if there's lab work backing it up, only if you're outside of the normal range. No, that is not holistic, that is not functional. Personal accountability, yes. And that makes a lot of sense. Great. I recently realized my vitamin D was within range, but not optimal. Yes, true. And vitamin D is also another great example of how lab work is partial. So vitamin D, we know we get it from the sun, right? But most people don't know that until our liver can convert it into a form that our cells and our body can make use of, it is pretty much useless. So your liver needs to be healthy for you to make use of vitamin D. So a reason that you may not have optimal levels in your blood work may not be because you're not getting enough, but because your liver isn't, for whatever reason, often toxic overload, which is a whole topic. Another reason that may not be happening. So really understanding your body on a deep level, on a holistic level. And the way you can start, there are two ways that I know of currently that you can start learning about your body, is to either take a functional nutrition program, really study on how the body works, what nutrients different body systems need, how we all vary in our needs, how to identify that through our symptoms. That's one way to learn about our bodies, is take a functional nutrition program. The other thing you can do is to work with a functional nutrition coach one-on-one, and that is what I do. I'm a functional nutrition coach, and it's basically the same thing, but in the sense that you're not training to become a functional nutritionist. Functional nutrition coaches are really focused on education and helping educate that individual on their own body and help them, equip them with the tools of navigating their health throughout their life. Whereas in a functional nutrition program, it's you now have to take that information and learn how to apply it to yourself, which, I did that route because I've been fascinated for 11 years on this whole our body and food relationship, our body and nutrition, our body and lifestyle thing. So if that is the route you choose, you can ask me more about programs I've taken. I'm open to that. I'm also open to people working with me. I am taking 3 clients at the moment and really considering to make it only until October. And then November and December, I'm not taking any more clients. I haven't made a final decision on that. yet, because there's some people who are just like, I want to start in November, but I need to sit with it for a little bit to figure out whether that's what I will do. But for sure, 3 more clients for this year, and then it won't be until next year when I open up my doors to work with more people. I thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me, listen to this really awesome question I was asked in the comments that I really was inspired to show up here and share more than I could in the short, 15 seconds, 60-second videos. And I hope you got something to think about, or some new awareness, or some things that sparked or resonated with you. All right, bye for now.